next guest plans to scale its digital operations post-COVID-19. With us now for more is John Echauz, President and CEO of Standard Insurance, which has been operating in the Philippines for 61 years. Good to have you with us, John. Welcome to the program.
Hi, John here.
Right. So how's the non-life insurance industry coping so far? I mean, we've started the year with the volcano's eruption and now COVID-19 and then the typhoon season.
Well, maybe I can, well, first I can't see you from my side. Is that normal? I can't really see anyone there. But
well, we can hear you and we can see you just fine.
Okay, great. Maybe I can describe 4 things about the non-life insurance industry and our company in particular with respect to COVID-19. The first thing is that our reserves, our main business as a non-life insurance company is sustainable risk transfer. It's the same with every insurance company in the non-life business. What does that mean? For example, you save your money and you buy a nice car for you and your family, but you're afraid of driving it around the city because in case you get into an accident, right, you might not be able to pay for the repair, and that makes you a bit stressed. And that's where we come in as an insurance company. You pay us some money, and that's called the premium, and then in exchange, we promise that should your car get into an accident and it needs repair or replacement, we will pay for that. And that's encoded, that's sort of documented in an insurance policy. That's the way we do our work together, and that's sustainable risk transfer. Now, what we do is for every policy, like you, for example, we estimate, okay, how safe are you when you drive, and what's the likelihood of you getting into an accident, maybe once a year or once every 2 or 3 or 4 years. So we know roughly what's the probability of you getting into an accident. Then the second thing we do is estimate, in case you get into an accident, like your car, it's a Toyota, how much will the cost of repair be? With these 2 numbers, we calculate what is the expected loss for that insurance policy. And every year we take that amount, the expected loss from your policy, which is a function of how you drive and what you're driving, and we invest it in treasury bills. We kind of put it in reserves, or called subi in Tagalog. And that's what allows us to pay for your claim. We don't rely on future sales of other customers to pay for your claim because we've already set aside those reserves. That's the first thing with COVID-19. I think what we'll find is we will find the bifurcation of insurance companies. It's like the old Aesop's fable of the grasshopper and the ants, right? The ants would be the insurance companies that are able to make subi or set aside money for the policies they've written. In that case, for us, for example, we will not scrimp. Because we were able to do that, we will not scrimp on our ability to pay and validate all valid claims. So very good. All valid claims we will pay properly, on time, quickly. Secondly, we won't scrimp on our reinsurance program. So we've got this good reinsurance program to protect all of our clients against really bad catastrophic risks, like big earthquakes, big floods, tsunamis. And then we won't scrimp on all the processes and systems that allow us to work nationwide. We're a nationwide company, and we want to make sure that everyone gets really good service, especially when they need it. So when everyone claims at the same time, we can handle it. And lastly, we won't scrimp on our workforce. We're very happy with our 1,500 associates nationwide. Hope everyone is safe. Everyone is cheerful, hardworking, motivated, and this is their life work. That's the first thing, right? Of course, there will be those who are grasshoppers. Maybe they weren't able to reserve properly, and they're going to scramble a bit. I'm not saying that all ants will do well, all grasshoppers will do poorly, but I think this COVID-19 is a life event, right? And I hope that everyone emerges from this wiser, kinder, and stronger.
Right. To your point, John, of the bifurcation of the insurance firms under a COVID scenario, I mean, insurers now are asking government for some regulatory relief to alleviate the impact on both investments and sales. So how bad has the lockdown been on the business?
Well, I think for everyone, what everyone did over the last 2 months is, at least for those who were for those who had existing insurance policies, they asked please extend our renewal period, so allow us to pay when things normalize, and that's okay. But that will actually dry up cash flow for I would say almost all insurance companies. So the smaller companies will struggle a bit because they have less cash buffer, and I think that's a reflection also in terms of the number of companies asking for regulatory relief. As you can see in all companies, right, in all industries, I think the smaller players just have less buffer to work with, and the larger players have a bit more. So I think, but I think humans are creative and adaptive, as are Filipinos. So we'll see. This should be a transformative event for everybody.
It really will. I mean, if you just compare and contrast for us, how different is this pandemic from, say, Typhoon Katsana in 2009, where the great flooding in Metro Manila cost hundreds of lives and over $1 billion in damages?
It's a bit different. Although it was also an interesting experience for us, right? I think we're the country's busiest motor car insurance company, and that hit us very in a new way, because it never was there a time when the Philippines, Metro Manila, was hit head on with all this flooding. But we did manage. I think when we started, we were like, oh my goodness, how many cars are there that have to be paid for, and how many have to be repaired? That one was a big shock, but it was really localized. And the ones who got hit were the insurance companies. COVID-19 is a bit different because it's global. And what we'll find actually is that maybe four things, right? The first thing is that you'll have many companies right now that won't be able to buy insurance. So you will be on the road right now, and you'll have many companies driving around with many cars around you uninsured. That's not exactly safe for you, right? Because it's like you have a nice car, it gets hit by someone who is not insured, you won't be able to pay for that damage. That's not good. And then the second thing is, of course, you'll have many insurance companies scrimping. So when there's a claim to be paid, they might not be able to pay for it in a timely way. So that would be another impact of this COVID-19.
Have you seen a pickup in claims since the lockdown, and what sort of claims?
Actually, no. 2 months with no one on the road, right? We will see fewer motor car claims for sure. And if ever there's a claim, they'll file it later on. We have not stopped operations. We've not had a single lost day. So we do have insurance claims, trucks that are coming in with vegetables, doctors, for example, get in a car accident. We do see those, but that's less. At the same time, there has been a change in occupancy risk. For example, buildings or malls, typically they are safer when people are walking in and out, right? Or a warehouse. They're safer when people are walking in and out. But with no people walking around, they're actually less safe, right? Less secure, more prone to fire or theft or things like that. And so we do see a change in occupancy. But so far, praise God, we've not seen any major losses in terms of our non-motor claims.
Now, I know that you've since dabbled into the digital space. You started by making use of the mobile phone. In what way has digitalization helped in this pandemic where a lockdown forces all to stay home?
Well, it's as an insurance carrier, we just think about risk all the time, and we think about what happens if the Manila Trench, which is the west side of the Philippines, what if there's an earthquake there and water comes into Manila Bay, or what happens if you have a strong earthquake along the West Valley Fault in Marikina. One thing we thought about is what happens if our head office in Makati burns down, right? What do we do? Luckily, we learned from our BPO, where we put all our operations on the cloud. So we were the first Philippine company, I think, in the insurance sector that was purely on the private cloud with Amazon Web Services. We actually operate everything digitally. Even our call center associates work from home with no problem. Everything is linked. That's really been a help for us. So all of our systems, whether internally or externally, are all digital, and it's time to actually rebuild. That's really helped us because for insurance, claims when they come in bulk, and you don't want to tell people, sorry, we can't process it, gotta wait. That's really helped us. Same with our for our customer-facing systems. We're an intermediated carrier. That means most of our sales are through agents, agencies, car dealers, and brokers. So our interface is pretty much digital. But of course, we do have a system that does face the end customer, and that's really helped too. We want to make sure that however people want to work with us, it is possible.
Yeah, talk to me about that customer interface online. I mean, how do you seal a sale when you've got the agent and the customer facing each other and not really, traditionally face-to-face, trying to talk about insurance policies?
Well, I can sell you insurance right now on Zoom. Thanks. They're really so grateful to Zoom. Before Zoom, the other systems weren't so good, really, in terms of being able to interact. Now we do have our agents being able to sell through Zoom, our associates presenting through Zoom. We handle claims through Zoom. It's really helping. And then we have all our systems online. It's all digital there. So it's really all possible right now. But in the US, for example, insurance is easily bought online, no problem. But in the Philippines, the amounts tend to be kind of large versus people's disposable income. So they want people to actually hold their hands until to the finish line. Small value policies like travel insurance, no problem, right? 1,000 pesos online, and that was one of our busier businesses before COVID-19. But for motor car, property policies, people do want whether it's our associates or agents to hold their hands until they can sign and pay. But no matter what way people want to interact, we want to make sure digitally it is possible.
All right. Well, let me know when you place a sale online. That'd be really interesting. In the new normal,
No, we've been doing it for quite a while. So
okay, and you've closed the sale during the lockdown?
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. Quite a number actually.
All right. Well, thank you so much for keeping us up to speed, John. You keep well. John Echauz of Standard Insurance. Up next, a discussion on the new normal in the education sector. Keep it here on ANC.